Good morning. Good morning. Well, what do we have here? This is a little change of pace. I appreciate you all braving the conditions and coming out and visiting with us, everyone, today. I was sitting back there enjoying the chatter that was going on, and I'm sure, like me, you all have missed that, so it's just great to be back. And I just have one announcement before we get into the actual slide deck. Right after this, we have the freshman walk that I hope that after we are dismissed here, we're going back to the tradition of the freshman walk and form a line and welcome our students coming in here. And after that is completed, then we're going to have a grab-and-go lunch over at the Alumni Center. My understanding is that starts at 11 o'clock, and you can go over to the Alumni Center, enter through the east doors, which are the doors facing Lade Gardens, pick up your lunch, and then exit through one of either the north or south door. Okay? So I hope you take advantage of that, and I hope it's enjoyable for you. So here we are, fall 21 semester. Who would have thought we would have gotten here, but we did. And I can't tell you how pleased I am, again, that you're all here, and it's been a tough year. And but let's dig right into this, okay? But first, a couple announcements, a couple points of discussion we need to have. As you all know, we issued a management plan for fall 21 for COVID operations and a plan for COVID. And I'm not sure it was met with a resounding yay from the campus community, but that's where we find ourselves right now as a higher ed institution in the state of Texas. And just some of the highlights, some of the items of note in that plan, the entire plan is based on information, orders, whatever you want to call it, guidance from the governor's office, from the CDC, from the system, Texas A&M University system, and local health authorities. And so it's founded in each of those. And we continue to monitor and continue to interact and discuss and communicate back and forth with each of those entities. As you know, the governor has issued an order that we cannot require vaccinations, we cannot require masks, and we cannot require proof of vaccination to anyone at our institution, faculty, staff, and students. I'm here to say that even though that's the case, I believe we should do everything we can to encourage and set the example to wear masks and encourage that kind of behavior and encourage vaccinations and so forth. In fact, I've been fully vaccinated, and I know that we have TDEM, Texas Department of Emergency Management, is actually offering vaccinations over at the field house from 9 to 2 today. And I plan to go over there after the freshman convocation to go get my booster shot, my third shot, because it's time. And I welcome all of you who either would like to get vaccinated or also getting your booster shot to join me anytime over there. Again, it's from 9 to 2 over at the field house. And I believe you need perhaps your driver's license, and I'm not sure about your Lion card. I don't think you need your Lion card, but probably want to bring it anyway if you go over there. As you all know, and I'm sure a lot of people in this room have already experienced the joy of our mandatory testing program. I think it's at least sets the tone for the campus that even though we may not be able to do certain things we want to do, we are taking every precaution we possibly can. Is it perfect? Nope. Is it fun? Probably not. Okay? But I think it's a necessary step that we do everything we can. And I know it's a little bit of a hassle to be gathered up and be tested. And my understanding as we go through this process, the process hopefully gets better and better. And when I mean better and better, more privacy, more discretion, and so forth as we move forward. Because even though we finish up this mandatory testing program September 17th, we're going to proceed and continue with periodic surveillance testing. And that may find its way in the form of a large gathering at the university. We may require people to get tested before the event or document that they're tested. It's important to note that all those employees that have not completed the COVID training must do so on train track as soon as you can. Those of you that have already completed that training from last year or whenever it was, you're good. But I know we've had a lot of new employees since March of 20, or since probably the end of the semester of spring 21. So we need to get you logged on to train track and take that COVID testing. Again, we want to do everything we can to get people vaccinated. And maybe the first step is asking people to get vaccinated. We want to do everything we can to encourage people to wear masks. Maybe the first thing we do is ask people to wear masks, whether it's at events or whether it's in the classroom, whatever that may be, okay? I think that's first step. And we're also in discussions. I know Dean Sackfield is in discussions with the system office and her other dean of student colleagues across the system, saying how do we implement some kind of incentive program for our students to get vaccinated. And that continues to be a work in progress there, but we're going to stick to it, okay? So I know there's still many questions out there. And I was talking to Provost Humphreys just moments ago, and I said, John, we need to have some kind of open forum, Zoom, whatever that may be, to talk and just field questions. And we may not have the best answers, but I think we need to maintain that line of communication. So John, I hope you're up for that. We'll be ready to go, and you'll see that being scheduled soon here, okay? So this is hot off the press, at least my press. There is going to be a show, a documentary on TV called Citizens at Last, which will be aired on PBS in Dallas on August 30th at 8 o'clock, okay? And it tells the story of Texas women and their fight to achieve the right to vote, okay? And what's a particular note of this is that the documentary is based a lot on the research and publications of one of our very own, Dr. Jessica Ranowski. And so you've heard me talk about that before, and Jessica is doing a great job and is being rewarded in this kind of documentary. So I hope you can tune into that particular series and enjoy that program. John Humphreys. I was a little disappointed when John approached me a couple months ago and said, you know what, I think it's time for me to go back to faculty. And it's something that John has always wanted to do, okay? He's always wanted, his first love is going back teaching and doing research as a management professor. And he does it extremely well. And because of his first love, I think we all owe a gratitude to Dr. Humphreys for stepping up when the university needed him to fill the role as provost at our university during a very formative, perhaps trying time at our university. And there will be opportunities for, and John will hate this, but going away parties and all this kind of stuff for John. But can you just help me real quick? Just give me an initial thank you to Dr. Humphreys for his service to the university. Dr. Humphreys has graciously agreed to stay on until a new provost is hired. And we will begin that process, form the committee, form the process of filling his tough-to-fill shoes very soon in the fall semester. And we may not get someone hired until the spring, but in a very crucial position, but John, again, has graciously agreed to stay on until we do. This is the most eclectic series of announcements and so forth I've ever seen. COVID, Humphreys, you know, give us money. This is what this one's about, right? So this is Bridge Builders, put out by our Office of Philanthropy and Engagement, and it is an employee giving program. And there's tremendous flexibility in this employee giving program. I cannot tell you, if you remember, in the teeth of COVID, in the teeth of the crisis, The philanthropy and engagement went out and said, we need help. We need some money. Our students need help. And we solicited and asked the campus community, alumni community, to give to what we call the Greatest Need Fund. Okay? In this Bridge Builders program, you can decide what you want, what's your passion, what do you want to give to? And philanthropy and Amber and these folks over there will make it as easy as possible for you. Okay? So there's a website that you can go to, and you can do it a direct payment, or you can do it direct deposit from your paychecks. They'll make life easy for you. Okay? And my understanding is in the brochure and the advertisement, you can also get your alumni brick to put over in the walkway of bricks over by the Alumni Center. And please take advantage of that. And please find it within your heart to give back to our university, give back particularly to our students. I have to give a plug to the folks that sometimes don't get plugs, and that's our compliance office, ethics and compliance office. That's now headed up by Caitlin Severance, and she's got a great staff working around here, Michael and James and Mona, and I can't tell you how pleased I am about the great work this group is doing for the university, because they really, much like a compliance office should, they help you. They help you mitigate risks. They're not the cops. They don't come across, in my experience with them, they don't come across as the cops. They are here to make sure that we don't experience waste, fraud, and abuse. And I can't tell you how pleased I am about their efforts. And please always know that if you have an issue or you witness any of these kind of behaviors, they're the go-to place, the initial go-to place. And so, Caitlin, I don't know if you're out there, thank you very much for all you do, and I just wanted to give a shout out to you for everything you do for our university. Okay, new faces, new positions. We have a lot of people. We made a lot of hires during COVID, okay? A lot of new faculty that entered the ranks of our university. And again, it always amazes me when I look at this list and I see the pedigree and the schools and the experience these folks have. What's kind of neat for me is that, yeah, we get folks from prestigious universities, but we also get folks from school districts, the private sector, whatever that may be. Again, bringing the best and brightest to A&M Commerce to complement the great faculty we already have. So, new faculty, thank you so much for taking a chance on A&M Commerce. You're joining the ranks of a great institution and a great faculty, and I can't wait to get to meet each and every one of you individually. And staff, yeah, thank you. And new staff at the university. Sometimes the backbone of the university, the way things get done at our university. You also are joining the ranks of an outstanding staff that we have at A&M Commerce. And we also welcome you and open you with open arms as being part of our university. So welcome new staff members also. Yes. I want to make sure that we recognize some very important people. You're all important, but people that are holding positions at our university. And the first one I want to acknowledge is Jasmine Williams, who is going to serve her second year as president of our Student Government Association. I think Jasmine is out here, right? Jasmine, can you stand up? Can you welcome Jasmine? Thank you so much. I don't know if any of you have been to an SGA meeting. They do a great job. They are dedicated, engaged with this university, and have offered and asked so many times to say, will you ask your faculty, staff, administrators to come talk to us and just brief us on what's going on? So if ever given an opportunity, Jasmine, I'm making a pitch here, please reach out to that organization. It doesn't matter where you're coming from. They want to know what's going on at the university and what they can do to help you and help the student body negotiate the waters of being at a large university like this. So Jasmine, thank you again. Dr. Ballinger is signed up for her second year as Faculty Senate President. I think we're drawing up the papers right now to sign around for another 10 years. I don't know if she's out there right now, but Julia, I really enjoyed working with you this past year, and we're really looking forward to a tremendous working and a wonderful working relationship with you and the Faculty Senate. Billy Abel is now the chair, the president of Staff Council. I think Billy will kill me that I put this picture up here, but that's okay. I don't know if I care. Billy, we'll talk about it later. But Billy is a breath of fresh air, and I think really, at my initial discussions with her, she's on to some great things at our university. Belinda Benson is now the coordinator of our BUG group, Business Users Group, which I love that group. I kind of embraced that group also and want to bring them into the campus discussions because that group plays such a critical role in the infrastructure at our university and should be at the table for many of the things we're discussing. So Belinda, thank you so much. Okay, so points of distinction, okay? I appreciate that you all, not you all, but a lot of you sent along great things going on at our university, okay? And if I need like 5 fall assemblies to identify and talk about all the great things that are going on here. And unfortunately, I could only pick a handful. But please know we have so much great stuff, cool stuff going on here. So, first of all, I just want to revisit quickly, because I mentioned this before at our previous assemblies, that U.S. News and World Report's kind of seen as the authority of ranking schools based upon a number of different things, different metrics, has A&M Commerce ranked as a national university, one of the top 380 universities in our nation. And if you break out some of these various subsections and areas, you can see that A&M Commerce performs very well in business and online programs and so forth. And it's really heartwarming and exciting to see the impact that we're making. And it's really exciting to be able to go in front of parents who are sending their kids here and saying, look at this. You're sending your kids to a national university here with a fantastic track record. And again, we can attribute these results to the faculty and staff we have on campus. What's a particular note, what's kind of interesting is this ranking of 106 out of 388 of national universities in social mobility. The ability of a school like Commerce that may be catering a little bit to the economically challenged student and being transformative in their lives. When they graduate, they go on to make money and get a job in their chosen area of interest. Boy, that really strikes, that hits home for me, and I hope it hits home for you. So congratulations on all these rankings. We are now a Steinway school. We are now a Steinway school. How's that? Thanks to the efforts of Brian Zader and Luis Sanchez, they spearheaded this effort back in 2015. This is so cool, right? And what's cool about it, there's other Steinway schools, but we are also the first, I believe, internationally, Bill, if I'm right, the first school that is a Spereo technology school, which is a new technology developed by Steinway where you can capture performances on the piano and replay those. And I think we're the only school that has that, is designated as that type of school right now. And that is quite an honor. And you know that, and I've said this before publicly, I like this idea of third parties, especially third parties like Steinway, validating everything we're doing here at our university. And this is great distinction and a great reflection on our music department, Chessa, and I would say the entire university, that Steinway has chosen us to represent them and have all of our kids, students, trained on Steinway pianos at our university. So Bill, good job, appreciate it. Philanthropy and engagement. I have all kinds of data on this slide, probably way too much. Let me just say this, it is still, I guess it's about the last week, we're wrapping up this fiscal year. This is the best fundraising year our school has ever had. Absolutely. And it's much to the work of Amber Countess and the group in philanthropy and engagement, and the engagement that the alumni office provides and interacts with our fantastic alumni base. The largest fundraising year ever at the school, which is tremendous. I want to give some kudos to Amber too, because the very last bullet there talks about an initiative that she pitched to Katuri, and thankfully they decided to go ahead and move on it. Because if you ever go to these alumni events and you get some of the older folks that are gathered around, all you hear are stories. I remember when I was thrown in the lake, and I remember this, and so forth, right? And the idea was, let's capture those stories. Let's capture those oral histories, and let's document those. And it was a tremendous, we hired an outside firm, tremendous success. You can see the results from that, right? 5,500 alumni have participated, 4,000 have shared stories. We ramped up and had hundreds and hundreds of people that now became members of our alumni association, 24 lifetime members, additional bricks, part of the alumni garden. Amber, I don't know where you are, but good job, and good job philanthropy and engagement. Let's keep the ball rolling, and let's keep on leveraging the success we're having at the school into resources that move us forward. Sponsored project activities, okay? We are quietly turning you all do it, and I'm looking kind of at the faculty right now. You publish a lot. You advise a lot of masters and dissertations. We do research very well here. The trick is, how do we take that research and transition it to sponsored programs? And I think there's tremendous opportunity there. And I know Cece Gassner, our VP for Research and Economic Development, also sees that capability and potential. And we are quietly increasing our awards, our submissions, proposal submissions to these funding agencies. And I picked these three out because I really like who we're getting money from, right? NSF, U.S. Department of Agriculture, Department of Defense. Any school, this is the money they want. Any school that does research, this is the type of money that you want at your institution. So again, I picked these three out. There's many more I could have thrown on this slide, and more than worthy to find themselves on this slide. But faculty, great job. Let's keep the ball rolling. Cece, let's keep it going here, okay? Excuse me. The Greek system at A&M Commerce. I've been here 3 years now, and I've never once spoken about the Greek system at our university. Even though I interact with them a lot, I see them a lot. They live right across the street. Many of them live right across the street from me. And I can't tell you what a treasure these students are. And when you get to know them, how important they are to our university. About 7% of our student body is part of a Greek organization. And now we're going to have 22 chapters at our institution starting this fall. And look at some of this data that we have emanating out of the actions and the performance of these fraternities and sororities in terms of philanthropy, but also and service hours and so forth. But look at the president's list and dean's list. Not only are these individuals, these students, active in the community and active on campus, but they're also great students. Many of them are very good students. And again, a treasure at our university. And you're going to be hearing more and more about the Greek system. And I'm looking for ideas about how we can get them more engaged in what we're doing and what you're doing as part of the university here. Okay? Great resource. Athletics. Now, I could have put about 20 slides up here about the great performance and all the awards won by athletics and the prominence of athletics in the D2 national arena. Men's golf, women's golf, softball, across the board. And it was a tough year because of COVID, but still we persevered and our athletes came through. But none came through more than Ushan Pereira, who is the National Field Athlete of the Year in the high jump. And Tim, I think that it was like over 7'2" that Ushan jumped over to win the national championship. And I believe has the country's record in Sri Lanka for the high jump. And so Ushan, congratulations to all the fine performance on the field. This does me really proud because, again, Tim provided me GPAs and so forth, and I always put those up, and the GPAs are really amazing how well academically our student athletes perform. But there was an instance, let me take you back to that dreaded week, or 2 weeks, well, how many weeks it was, of the winter storm in February, when no water in large parts of the campus, no water in many parts of the city, no electricity. Very difficult times, a lot of vulnerability. And during talks to the legislature and so forth, I kind of insinuated that maybe for the first time, us, the faculty and staff in this room, maybe had a little bit of a taste of the vulnerability that some of our students have, okay? One group, I think, stepped up big time and aided the community like no other. And that was our, football team. Yes. I can't tell you how much pride this gives me to even show this slide here. Because I went out there and took pictures of these guys. People from the community that had no water could come up and get drinking water. And these guys also went out and shoveled driveways and shoveled walkways across campus in the community. And they personally hand-delivered bottles of water to people in the community that often greeted them in tears, thanking them for their service. And so, I don't know if anyone's ever officially thanked the coaching staff and our football players that stepped up that time, but let's make it official right now. Coach Bailiff, football, thank you so much. Atypical ambassadors. I have so much to say on this, I can't even tell you, but I gotta keep to the time limit here. Atypical ambassadors is a student organization of our students that find themselves on the neurodiverse spectrum, okay, of autism. I had a couple lunches with these students, and I absolutely fell in love with these individuals, okay? And everything I'm telling you right now, I said to them, and if they were sitting right here, I'd do the same thing, okay? They may not have the social filters that you and I have. They may struggle with communicating and chit-chat and small talk like we do. But when I had those 24 students in the room, we went around, these are sharp kids. And so we are looking hard, and this is going to be an initiative to me, my personal initiative, one of them at the university, of how do we become a place at A&M Commerce for college-ready kids that may find themselves on the spectrum or with some other disability, but are college-ready. How do we take them here and make them successful? And when I mean successful, we've been going out talking to various entities like Hugs in McKinney, a restaurant that hires strictly kids with disabilities and trains them up and prepares them for the workforce. They're not college ready necessarily there. They would be here. How do we do the same thing? How do we not only attract them here, how do we create an experience for them and set them up for success for a job? Whether they get an intern, whether they're working before they graduate, and convince, sometimes industry is a little wary. I don't know if I want that type of person, believe it or not, working at my company. And this is an industry person telling me that exactly. Okay? We would never be able to pull this off, and you're going to learn more about this. We would never be able to pull this off without Sandy Patton and the Disability Center services at our university. So Sandy, if you're out there, thank you so much. We're going to set the stage. I see great things coming here. This is going to be kind of a workforce development initiative for our kids on the spectrum and kids with disabilities. Not just providing services to them, working to set them up for success, consistent with our goal of student preparedness, okay? More to come on that, and again, I could talk for a long time. Back in April of this year, Officer Patrick was driving in his car, and some guy saw an SSC employee trying to flag him down. Officer Patrick got out of his car, was directed to this person, and came across someone that had injured themselves on a tractor mower and actually ended up having a compound fracture of the lower leg and was bleeding profusely. Okay? The employer who tried to flag Officer Patrick down tied a tourniquet to the leg, but it was still bleeding. And this was a life or death situation here. Quickly, Officer Patrick went to his car to get a department-issued tourniquet, applied it higher up on the leg, and stemmed the bleeding to the best of his ability. And then sat there and comforted the person who experienced the fracture until the paramedics came, airlifted him out. Officer Patrick saved his life. And I think Officer Patrick is a hero. And I would like to introduce you to Officer Harry Patrick. Harry Patrick, can you come out, please? Congratulations, sir. Congratulations. That's for you. Just stay right there. Thank you. Not only do I, and apparently you, think Officer Patrick is a hero, but so did the Board of Regents. And Harry was supposed to go to the Board of Regents meeting this past week and receive this and be formally acknowledged, but because of protocols and COVID protocols and so forth, they were a little wishy-washy about it, and I said, selfishly, let us do it. Let us award this. And so everything I just told you, the story is listed out on this resolution, and I'll just read, if it's okay with you, I'll read one paragraph of this. Resolved that we, the members of the Board of Regents of the Texas A&M University System, wish to publicly honor Officer Harry Patrick for his outstanding valor, courage, and heroic action, and to express our profound admiration and respect for his deeds Signed, Tim Leach, Chairman, Board of Regents. Officer Patrick, congratulations. Can I get a picture? Can I get a picture with you right here? How about right here? Good. Thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. He's a good guy. So let's turn from distinction to a little bit more practical kind of stuff. Notes on the FY22 budget, the fiscal year we're coming into. I know that was the worst segue ever, but that's how the slides turned out. So our formula funding was restored. That's a good thing. There was a chance there towards the end of the legislature, they were going to cut us by about $4 a student credit hour. That would have been bad. Okay, just take my word for it. We intentionally, because of this, and we came out a little bit ahead. Our SEHs in the formula were down a little bit, but we had so much growth in our graduate programming that it covered it, and we actually came out a little bit ahead. Okay? Because we came out ahead, we have set aside about 2% for a pool for merit, and I guess we don't call it merit retention, now we call it, for faculty and staff for 21-22. We do the best we can. We have to keep an eye on what enrollment looks like for the fall. And we may have to dip into that if the student credit hours don't hold for the fall, and I'll show you those in a second. We received a lot of money from the federal government, HERF money, to give to our students and to make the university whole for all its efforts during the COVID crisis, and we still have a lot of money to spend. And I'm proud to say that 11 million of this money went directly to students in their pocket, pay off balances, whatever that may be. As some of you know, we utilize a voluntary separation program to as a budget management kind of issue. And a little bit more on this, we set aside money for beautification of campus. And actually, you'll find out we're starting right here where we sit. You probably can't see this, can you? Let me just tell you, I always have to bring this out because this is where we are enrollment-wise and student credit hour-wise as of yesterday. We are 255 students ahead of where we were this time last year. Okay? That's good. And given that it seems like 80% of our students register after the first day of classes, hopefully that number will continue to go up, right? This is a little bit problematic here. We're down student credit hours, down by about 5%. And we're hoping that today, because I think a lot of students will register today, and again, when you talk to Judy Sackfield, you think there's some kind of, what are we doing wrong at the university? But when the success teams and Judy call some of these students, they say, oh yeah, I probably should do that, shouldn't I? Probably should register today. When school? Monday? Oh yeah, okay, I'll get it done this weekend, okay? No urgency at all, okay? So we have to keep an eye on the student credit hours, and if we can bring that down, the more we can bring that number down, the closer we'll get to 2% for a merit pool for this coming year. Now, I'll talk a little bit more about this. So new initiatives for 21-22. Always like to talk about these. Stay healthy, communication and transparency, strategic enrollment plan, civility. Are you tired about hearing about civility? I am, but we're going to talk about it anyway. Adobe Creative Campus, Dallas site, East Side improvement. Okay? And of course, there's other things that could be on this list, like atypical ambassadors and so forth, but these are some of the major ones. Okay? Stay healthy in communication and transparency. Again, we're going to commit ourselves to be as transparent and to communicate with the campus as much as we possibly can. Okay? So this looks pretty good here, right? I just brought up the previous slide about the numbers. Okay? 255 ahead, a little bit. Even if we flatlined a little bit, that would be better than some of the schools in our A&M system, because it's been tough. COVID's been tough. Okay? And I think if you take a look at some of these numbers, particularly the graduate numbers and the freshman numbers, we're actually 369 freshmen ahead of where we were this time last year. Okay? And our graduate numbers are going through the roof. New first-time graduate students to our program, thank gosh, right? Where we run into trouble is that sophomore, junior, senior year. Okay? If you take the overall and say, you know what, I'm going to break out just continuing students, this looks a little different, doesn't it? When I talk to Nichelle and the people over in enrollment management, she constantly reminds me that if you mark, I'm paraphrasing here, Nichelle, so if you don't get retention under control, we're not going to grow this place. She brought in, that office in the university brought in 2,653 new students to our university. That's a tremendous effort. That's at the undergraduate level. Jen Schrader is knocking it out at the graduate level. Okay? We are not retaining our students. And so I purposely brought this up because this is going to be job one. My first couple of years here, I was so kind of interested in recruitment, reaching out. Commerce is relevant to the ISDs and the big ISDs and so forth, and focus on scholarship programs, bring students in. It doesn't do us any good to bring students in if we can't keep them here. Okay? And I think when you talk to people, well, let me say this. We're going to roll out this initiative starting very soon. We're finalizing terms and conditions with Huron that's going to help us develop for the first time at our institution a comprehensive student enrollment, and I should have had management plan there. And to think that this is a plan that Nichelle takes back and says, okay, team, here's what we need to do. That is wrong. I can remember when I first came here, I had some faculty and staff come up to me and say, you know what, my job isn't recruitment or retention, my job is to teach classes. Whoever said that to me is completely wrong. Okay? When you think about a strategic enrollment plan, it has three legs to the stool: enrollment management, student affairs, academic affairs. We have to figure out a way to have all three of those engage better with our students, keep a keen eye on retention of students, and if there's a way, you know, some of the reasons I get that it may be more difficult to retain students, especially if you're online, I think there's ways to figure that out. Okay? This plan we're going to put together is going to have all three of those groups at the table, all three of those groups accountable. We have to turn this tide. We'd be kind of flush with money if we would have just kept the same number of students, retained the same number of students we did last year. We probably would have been up 7-8%, which would have been unheard of. Right? And don't get me wrong, I know that COVID played a role in this. I really do. I understand that. A lot of the students that left our university didn't go anywhere else. They just stayed away. I got to deal with stuff at home, Mark. Okay? We're going to hit this hard and heavy. Additional, I think we're on schedule to get this done, this plan done by the end of this fall and ready to go. So we need everyone on board, all hands on deck. Let's work together to make this a successful initiative. Here's our, always love to roll this out, strategic goals, strategic plan. And I just want to focus on this one. Create an inclusive community. You know, I was talking to someone, and they said, Mark, you know what, man, your first 6 months in this job were rough. And I said, well, I know, I was pushing the campus and this and that, but then I let it go. And I was talking to someone else, and I said, hey, do you think my first 6 months were rough? They said, oh yeah. I said, what does that mean? Because, Mark, you came out of the gate almost and telling us we're not a civil campus. You came out of the gate almost like a first date and said, you're not very nice, right? I mean, brings me back to my college days, but that's okay. But we need to resurrect this discussion. Now that COVID's back, now that we're back together again, okay? I think I made the effort to say, let's be more civil to one another. Let's do a better job working with one another. I know we're all under stress. I know that we're all underpaid. I know that there's frustrations day to day. But don't take that out on anyone else. Okay? And when I talk about being civil to one another, I'm not talking about, hey, my boss won't give me the merit I want, or my boss won't promote me. They're uncivil. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about throwing up barriers to a person that has reached out to you, whether it's a student or a faculty or staff, and says, I need your help. And hopefully, if it's possible, to drop what you're doing and help that person. That's the message I was trying to bring at the university level. And now I had meetings with our VPs and deans to say, now I want to push it down, and you all have that discussion. I think my strategy for civility on this campus up to this point has essentially been everyone be nice, okay? Everyone be nice to each other, okay? We need to ensure we continue to establish a culture of civility on our campus and respect and acknowledgement of skills and so forth. And if each of you have written a strategic plan in your individual units that has not worked to enhance civility and inclusion, you have an incomplete strategic plan. I would ask you go back, put it in there, figure it out. Figure out strategies to become a civil entity or to continue the civility. Please know I'm using a little bit of sloppy language here saying, I'm not saying everyone's uncivil, okay? I just want us to treat each other with respect and continue to move the university forward. We have a lot of challenges at this university. The internal challenge shouldn't be part of that. Just wanted to mention that the Civility Task Force is kicking off this fiscal year, academic year, with a Civility Summit that'll be on October 5th, 2021 at 11:45 at the amphitheater. I hope you can make it. I don't expect you to remember this, but you'll see more and more announcements, but please, let's continue that dialogue. Creative Campus. We are very close to signing an agreement, a contract with Adobe, the software company, to become one of 50 and now maybe 51 creative campuses in the US. What that does is that it gives us license to utilize all the tools Adobe has, whether that's web development, video, audio, graphic design, whatever that may be, and incorporate that into our curriculum. Incorporate that into our homework assignments, tests, whatever that may be. We know that students are the digital natives now. Maybe we're behind the 8 ball a little. I know I am. You may not be, but I am. Okay? And in the name of student preparedness, how do we create exercises, activities, homework, whatever that may be, to enhance the digital agility of our students, the digital competency of our students, to better prepare them? My son is a computer science major. Sometimes he doesn't like to talk to me about that kind of stuff. But when I told him we were doing this, he goes, "That is the coolest thing in the world." Because I wish my school would have done this. Because again, you're developing a skill portfolio in the students. So when they step up against those other 40 students or graduates to compete for a job, you put another arrow in their quiver. More to come on the digital campus. Goal number 4, align our initiatives with our unique and rural-urban identity. Okay? Part of our strategic plan. Up until now, all I've been talking about in previous plans is a bullet point: Dallas, Dallas, Dallas. You have all caught wind by now that we are in Dallas. Okay? This is where we were prior to a couple months ago. And we had some university centers in Dallas, and I just simply could not fit Navarro on that particular slide, but we have another one south of town here. But we are adopting an urban model of education. Not all of our students, not all of our prospective students want to come up to Commerce and live in our residence halls and have this college experience. Life may not let them do that. They may not be able to afford that. Okay? So how do we create an educational experience that caters to that group? Okay? And in the past, Commerce has kind of said, yeah, let's do that. Let's offer classes in downtown Dallas. But never fully in, never committed. We are committed this time to get into Dallas. And we're going to provide all the services we have up there, as many as we can, to students down there that decide to partake in there. And then a location that is easy to get to, centrally located, accessible, fun, cool, good looking, attractive, okay, in terms of a facility. And I think we found it at 8750 North Dallas, North Central Expressway. And this is the building we're going to be occupying, top 2 floors of the Top Golf building at 8750. I'm sorry, the A&M Commerce building, okay? Our sign will be on the other side of the building. Keep on messing that up. Our sign will be on this side of the building. As you come south into Dallas, you can see Dallas back there, A&M Commerce, about the 15th floor. You'll be able to see that lit up at night. Okay? Truly excited about this. Again, we are all in. And we would never be able to do this without the partnerships we have established and creating that pipeline to get students to Dallas and to Commerce. Okay? Now we have a greater portfolio for these students, educational portfolio to choose from. Right? Now we can say, hey, you want the college experience? Come on up to Commerce. If you want, the urban model, then we have an option for you here. And we have established 2+2 programs with community colleges, especially Dallas College. And we're creating partnerships with various groups, various ISDs within the Metroplex area that try to recruit students to come here. I really do believe, because Dallas is a site, it's not the campus, this is the campus. Head count, SCHs that are generated here, land here. I really do believe because of this, but it may be even more importantly because of the partnerships we're establishing with these different entities, I really do believe our incoming numbers are going to go up. And boy, what a nice thing if we could conquer and take care of retention and keep our numbers on the rise continually. Initial building occupants. Sometimes this doesn't sit too well with some folks, but it's great. We're going to headquarter our College of Education and Human Services and College of Businesses down there. We're not going to limp into Dallas. We're going into Dallas. And we're also going to have sustainable ag down there, and all these others, and VisCom. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot VisCom. Wildly successful VisCom program that's currently at El Centro. That'll be one of the also be one of the anchor tenants of this building. This will mean we're not going to offer business. We're not going to offer education programs here. We're just going to extend it and expand it into this space. And then all of the other things that we do at this university will have a seat at the table and be charged with providing services to our students, philanthropy and engagement, and so forth. All these wraparound services that we have here. You can see an initial list of programs, academic programs we're going to offer. There's some really cool ones in here. I'm starting to run short on time, so I don't want to bore you with those details, but there are some really cool things that not only are Mario and Kimberly and Randy doing, but the synergies between, for example, sustainable ag and supply chain management, getting food from farm to table in food deserts in an urban setting. That is so cool. East Side Campus Initiative, Improvement Initiative. It's already been started. We have decided that, well, actually I got to be honest with you, we didn't decide anything. A group of students came to me and said, how come the East Side Campus looks like this? Right? And then, I don't know if it's coincidentally or what, but then a group of faculty said the same thing. And you know what? They're right. West Side's looking sharp. Welcome Center, pavilions, Dallas, shiny, glitzy. But after having that discussion with the faculty and the students, I came up to this same room where we have student orientation. And I gotta be honest with you, it was dark, it was hot. Besides my slide here, I guess that's up there. But besides that, you don't know if you're in Lion Country or not. And so we made the decision as executive team that we're going to improve both aesthetically and branding, but even more important, health and safety of the buildings on this side of campus. And we're starting with Ferguson. This is evidently this is some kind of Mark Rudin rule or something. We're going to focus on Ferguson until we're done with Ferguson. Because what we don't want to do is say, hey, let's get rid of these curtains in Ferguson. Let's fix the window at Binion. Let's go put some branding up in Henderson. We're going to work on this building, get it to where it's a neat space where we can be proud of, our faculty can be proud of, our staff can be proud of, and our students say, this is pretty cool. And now I know why I chose here. This is a great place to be. Okay? This is important. This is important because any study will tell you within the first 5 or 10 minutes, a student and their parents will say, will make that decision. This is acceptable for me to come here. Okay? I appreciate my friend and colleague, April Carl, for sending along this quote from Stephen Ross. I just spent the last week at programmatic budget review. And all the schools presented all their information, all their data, all the retention, all this kind of stuff. And I was hard pressed to find any school that was outperforming us. I feel like, and I think you would all agree, we want to be a great school. We want to continue that trajectory of being a great school. And I think that we can be an exceptional school because we have exceptional people. It's not going to be my doing, it's going to be your doing. And so we have our challenges ahead of us. I hope you're excited about this year. You know, a lot of change. Again, sometimes I get pinged about, Mark, you're too distracted. Why are you looking at that? Why you should be looking at that? I think when people say higher ed is this battleship that moves so slow and it takes so long to turn, I'm not buying that. And I hope you're not buying that. There's a saying that change is inevitable, but progress is optional. We can decide who we want to be. We can grab the bull by the horns and decide who we're going to be. And I think you are the right people at the right time to move this university forward. We have challenging times, but I'm just telling you, I would not like to be in the trenches with anyone else but you. So thank you for everything you do at our university, and go Lions.